enduring legacy of Niccolò Machiavelli. Niccolò Machiavelli, the 16th-century Florentine diplomat and philosopher, left behind a legacy that continues to shape political, psychological, and strategic thinking. Often misunderstood, Machiavelli is typically associated with cunning, manipulation, and ruthless tactics, a reputation built primarily on his most famous work, The Prince. However, beneath this veneer lies a sophisticated philosophy centered on the mastery of human nature, strategic adaptability, and the effective pursuit of power and stability. Machiavellian intelligence refers to the ability to navigate complex social and political landscapes through pragmatism, foresight, and strategic manipulation. In a world where power dynamics often dictate success, Machiavelli's principles remain profoundly relevant. Understanding how to think, act, and win like Machiavelli entails embracing a pragmatic worldview, cultivating self-awareness, and mastering the psychology of influence and control. This essay explores the core components of Machiavellian intelligence, strategic thinking, psychological insight, adaptability, and the effective use of power. It unpacks how individuals can apply these ideas in leadership, business, politics, and even personal relationships to achieve sustained success. The Machiavellian mindset. Thinking strategically. At the heart of Machiavellian intelligence is the ability to think several steps ahead. For Machiavelli, foresight was essential. Those who can anticipate challenges and craft contingencies are better positioned to maintain control. In The Prince, he advises rulers to always be alert to the fragility of fortune and the ever-changing nature of political climates. This situational awareness allows the Machiavellian thinker to pivot quickly and maintain advantage. Strategic thinking involves calculating risk, identifying opportunities, and analyzing human behavior. The Machiavellian mind does not depend on ideals or morality, but rather on what is effective. This pragmatic approach requires suppressing personal biases and emotional impulses in favor of rational calculation. In practice, this means asking, what are my goals? What resources do I have? Who stands in my way? And what motivates them? How can I influence the situation in my favor? Thinking like Machiavelli means analyzing every decision through the lens of advantage and consequence, with an unwavering focus on results. Acting with purpose, the Machiavellian code of conduct. Acting like Machiavelli requires more than just cold calculation. It demands disciplined action. Machiavelli warned against hesitation and indecision. A leader must be bold when necessary and ruthless when required. He famously wrote, "It is better to be feared than loved, if you cannot be both." This does not suggest cruelty for its own sake, but rather the use of fear as a tool for maintaining order and authority. The Machiavellian actor uses appearances as a weapon. Image matters. A successful strategist maintains a favorable public persona while concealing their true motives. This duality, the public self and the private self, is essential for survival and influence in competitive environments. Tactically, Machiavellians are masters of timing and persuasion. They choose their moments carefully, exploit weaknesses in their opponents, and rarely reveal their full intentions. The art of deception, when used judiciously, becomes a powerful instrument in the Machiavellian toolkit. Winning the game, mastering influence and control. Victory for Machiavelli is not about brute strength alone, it is about influence. Influence is gained through a mix of fear, loyalty, rewards, and sometimes manipulation. The successful Machiavellian understands what drives others, their desires, insecurities, ambitions, and uses this knowledge to shape outcomes. To win, like Machiavelli, is to align others' interests with your own goals. This might mean forming strategic alliances, making temporary compromises, or even betraying trust when the benefits outweigh the risks. While this can sound morally dubious, Machiavelli viewed it as necessary in a world governed by ambition and power. In modern contexts, such as business negotiations, politics, or leadership, this means understanding stakeholder psychology, managing perception, and ensuring you control the narrative. Victory often goes to those who appear calm under pressure, offer confidence, and deliver results, even if the means of getting there are less than transparent. The virtue fortuna balance, controlling the uncontrollable. One of Machiavelli's most nuanced contributions is the interplay between virtù and fortuna. Virtù refers to the strength, will, and cunning of a leader, while fortuna symbolizes luck or external circumstances. Machiavelli argued that while fortune plays a role in success, it is the leader's virtù that determines how well they seize or survive fortune's whims. A person who thinks and acts like Machiavelli cultivates their virtue, not just talent, but the aggressive drive to impose their will on the world. This means preparing relentlessly, taking decisive action, and never relying on fate alone. By building networks, acquiring resources, and staying informed, the Machiavellian thinker mitigates the role of luck in their outcomes. This mindset teaches resilience. When fortune turns against them, Machiavellians adjust. They don't dwell on failure, but instead recalibrate and strike again. Success, in the Machiavellian sense, is a function of persistence, perception, and the will to dominate uncertainty. The ethical paradox and modern relevance. Machiavelli's teachings continue to stir debate, particularly around the ethics of his approach. Critics see him as promoting manipulation and betrayal. Admirers argue he provides a clear-eyed view of reality. The truth lies somewhere in between. Machiavelli never advocated immorality for its own sake. Rather, he recognized that moral behavior is often incompatible with political success. His was a world where the ends justified the means, but only when the ends protected order, stability, or personal gain. To think, act, and win like Machiavelli today is to engage with complexity rather than shy away from it. It is to understand that leadership and power are messy, and that those who rise are often those willing to do what others will not. In business, politics, and even personal life, the Machiavellian thinker blends pragmatism with psychological insight to shape outcomes in their favor. Ultimately, Machiavellian intelligence is not about being evil. It's about being effective. It is the art of seeing things as they are, not as we wish them to be, and leveraging that understanding to forge a path to power. Those who master this art gain more than success. They gain control over their destiny in an unpredictable world.